Hey guys, welcome to Gunpla News, episode 22 for September 2016. This is going to be another light episode. So because of the fact that I'm going to be heading off to the Philippines in a few days, I'm just kind of very busy here, just getting ready for that trip and just trying to finish some of the projects that I have going on that I want to try to finish before that. So for that reason, this month's episode is going to be another Gunpla News Light episode. So that basically means instead of being 5 different parts, it's just going to be just one video here. There really is only a little tiny bit of news that I want to cover for you guys. There's a good amount of announcements that I'm going to go through those. And then that's pretty much going to be it. There's just a few little things in there, so it won't be the whole full 5 parts. Now that I've recently started doing that show G-Check with Joshua Darrow, we did the first episode last month, and it was just kind of a intro episode, kind of. Now that I've started doing that, and like basically the whole premise of that show is that we're taking a look at other people's work and like chatting about it. Because we're doing that, I'm kind of wondering if maybe I should just start omitting the 5th part of Gunpla News, because in the Gunpla News, the 5th part is usually about featured kits. So where I do the same thing, I just talk about some kits that I found online that I like. So if I'm doing that show every month with Josh, it kind of seems like double doing that. But I don't know. I guess I'll probably still do it anyway. Okay, but. Yeah, so just to cover a few little points of news here, yes, in a couple days I'll be there in the Philippines. For a couple days there, I'm going to be doing 3 different main events there. This kind of the first day is the main event. The second day is another judging event of a Kotobukiya contest. The third day is just another kind of meet and greet and kind of judging event there at a mall. So again, if you're in the Philippines and you want to know more about the details of that trip, if you want to kind of hang out with me there, or you want to enter in any of those contests, or want to visit any of those events, which I would recommend you do, then go back and check out my video. I made a video talking about all the details about that. You can check that out, and all the information you need is there. Very much looking forward to that. The trip will be really cool. And then the next thing is Gundam Build Fighters, the Island War OVA. This came out, now 2 weeks ago or so, almost 3 weeks ago. And I just wanted to kind of give my thoughts on it because I hadn't gone on video to talk about my thoughts after watching it, and I just thought it was not that good, to be honest. It was just like nothing. After I watched it, I just felt like, what did I watch? It's just like a bonus episode at the end of Build Fighters Try, basically, and it just kind of didn't really do anything for me at all. On the plus side, I'm glad that we got some cool kits out of it. The Ensemble is really cool. The Double Zeta 2 is a really cool kit. So I'm happy about that, but the anime itself was just like, well, what's the point? I don't know. It was just not very interesting at all, and I just don't really think it did really much. And then as far as Iron Blooded Orphans goes, the season 2 will be premiering on October 2nd. So just a reminder to you guys, if you're looking forward to that, I'm sure you probably already know, but October 2nd, just under a month from now, the 2nd season of IBO will be starting. So let's get into the announcements here. As usual, we'll start with the figures first, but there's really not too many of that stuff to talk about. First thing is a Tamashii webshop exclusive Robot Spirits RX-78-2 Gundam version anime, real type color version. So this is the just anime version of the Robot Spirits RX-78-2, but it's now just colored differently in the real type colors as it appears on like the movie poster, I guess. And so this is going to be out in October for 6,000 yen, sold at the Tamashii Nation 2016 Expo. So there at that show you'll be able to buy this, and probably through third-party sellers you'll be able to get it later if you want. Probably have to pay more than 6,000 yen for it though, of course. But that event is going to be on October 28th through the 30th there in Japan. Next is, there's a couple things here that I've kind of previously mentioned, but I just want to talk about them again because we have some new photos and stuff to talk about for them. So this is the Megahouse Iron Blooded Orphans Mobile Worker Tekkaden unit. This is going to be out in January for 10,400 yen, so quite expensive, but looks like a cool thing. Someone was telling me that those Megahouse things are not actually kits, they're just like figures basically. I didn't know that, so that's kind of interesting. So this is basically just like a figure of the Mobile Worker, and it also comes with, what was it? Orga and Biscuit. to go in that. I'm not sure the scale or size of that actually, but I would guess it's kind of like this big, maybe probably not that big, but it's kind of a cool looking little thing. I wish it was an actual kit. That'd be better. I think it'd be more interesting, but unfortunately. And also from Megahouse, the Ptolemaios, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, container. I talked about this before previously, but now you can actually see some color photos of what this is going to look like. This is going to be out in October. I didn't see the price for this because the magazine image that we have, I think you just can't see the price. I think it's there, but you just can't see it anyway. But I'm sure it's probably going to be also around 10,000 yen, probably pretty expensive for that because it's going to be a big thing. It's made to house 1/144 scale figures, but still, like you can see, you could fit a couple 1/144 scale figures in there, kits. And so it's probably going to be pretty large. Alright, next, getting into the figurized busts, we have 2 more coming out that we know of at the moment. The next one is going to be not until, well, there's, I guess, the Setsuna one's coming out before that, but the next one after that in December is going to be Hoshino Fumina. This is one of the ones that was kind of shown before when they kind of first introduced the figurized bust line, and they showed us a bunch of different ones that are being considered for the line. Hoshino Fumina was one of them, but the design is changed. So if you look here, this is like the original picture of what was first shown, and then this is like the new one that's actually made. So they made it like longer, I guess, to just show the body more, of course, right? The interesting thing about this is that it has 2 forms. This is the first time in the figurized bust line that it has options of kind of the pose. So you can choose to model it with the jacket on, or cardigan, I guess it would be, or off if you wanted a more suggestive pose. So there's that, and then there's also going to be, sorry, that's 1,800 yen for that, so kind of pricey, actually, but those are pretty nice. The next one is the figurized bust Lacus Klein, out in February for 1,800 yen as well, so 2 months later. This one also, here you can see it was shown before, but they also made this taller and they extended the torso part of it and changed up the pose. I think this is just absolutely horrible. It's so ugly. This could just be me. I'm not a big fan of her character at all, and a lot of people aren't really, but this doesn't have anything to do with the character. It could be like my favorite character in all of Gundam, and if the pose was looking like that, I would be very disappointed, just because like she's doing something with her hands. It just looks like so unnatural, and like, what is she doing? I don't know why her arms and hands are like that. It just doesn't look like it's a good representation of her character at all, so it's just really disappointing, I think. So pretty ugly. Hopefully that one will also have some arm options as well, like the Fumina bust. I think it looks like it might, but we don't know at this point. So, but I would guess it probably will, so we'll have to see about that. Next, there's going to be a new series of Gundam Gashapon coming out called Mobile Suit Ensemble. I haven't seen anything about how much they're going to cost or when it's going to be starting, but they're sort of like SD. They look like basically slightly larger, slightly less SD Converge kits, basically, like Converge figures. It's kind of what they look like. It has we have the first 2 stages here, and it says like in the first round of releases, it's going to be just the Gundam in rollout colors, so it's kind of like just very plain looking Gundam, and then also the Char's Zaku 2, the Origin version. So those are going to be the first 2, and then like the first like full wave is going to be the just regular ARC 782 Gundam, the Zaku 2 in just the green color, standard color, the G Fighter, the Unicorn Gundam in destroy mode, and an MS weapons set, so just weapons that you can use. I guess it's probably going to have weapons for like all of those kits that you can use with all of those, so just like option parts. The most interesting thing here is at the bottom of the display, you can see there, this is from C3, recently in Tokyo. At the bottom you can see they're also planning a wound wart. I can't read all the Japanese, but from what I can tell, it looks like that's what they've got planned as a wound wart, or at least they have some art related to the wound wart there. So this is like an official Bandai display showing something from Advance of Zeta. Is great news, but I don't know what it means yet, because Bandai, as far as I know, currently doesn't own the rights to Advance of Zeta. Dengeki Hobby owns it, so that's why Bandai doesn't make any more Advance of Zeta model kits, is because they don't own the rights to those designs anymore, or they don't own the rights to that storyline, I guess. So the fact that this is being considered, means maybe they're going to get the rights back, or at least, for the wound ward or something. I don't know what that means, because I don't really follow like too much of like that legal stuff about actually like who owns that stuff. But I really hope that that's the case, because I would really love more stuff from Advanced Zeta in any shape or form. So hopefully that works out. Although I guess Bandai has been producing stuff from Advanced Zeta in the Converge lines, because we just recently had like the Hazels and the Hurudu and different stuff from that line. So maybe it's different for like the figure line and the model kit line. So I guess it's not that too like new exciting news, because we have had figures from Advanced Zeta come out recently, but I don't know, hopefully we could get more kits sometime in the future. But in the meantime, I will take that very awesome looking Woundwar figure. Hopefully that gets made. So then we can transition into P Bandai stuff now, because the first thing here is a P Bandai Mobile Suit Ensemble Full Armor Unicorn Gundam Destroy Mode green Psychoframe version. So in that same line, they're already planning a P Bandai release from that Gashapon line, and is the Full Armor Unicorn here. No price or release date set for that, but again, looks so similar to like a Converge figure, but just the proportions are a little bit different. It looks like it's probably a little bit larger, but yeah, there's that. And then there is the P Bandai Gashapon Senshi Dash Premium 04 set. So this is going to be out in December for 3,500 yen, and only going to be including the Thunderbolt Full Armor Gundam and the Psycho Zaku. So you get a whole bunch of stuff with them, like all different parts to get all the shields for the Gundam and all the weapons and boosters and everything for the Zaku. So you get a whole lot of stuff in there, but still it's just 2 Gashapon figures and a whole bunch of stuff for 3,500 yen. It's pretty expensive, but if you're into that stuff, it should be pretty cool. Also very expensive, the P Bandai Assault Kingdom Queen Mensa metallic version. So the Queen Mensa, I think, was already $100 or more just for the regular figure. I'm pretty sure it was more. And now we have the metallic version. So it's going to be out in December for 18,000 yen, so $180 or more. To get that one's pretty expensive. That thing it's large, but that's pretty crazy. Next is the P Bandai Master Grade High Mobility Type Zaku 2 Robert Gilliam Custom. This is just another MSV color Zaku 2.0. Bandai's done a bunch of these. I have a couple of them. There's like the Gabby Hazard one that's like the kind of couple suit with this one, and there's like the Yuma Lightning version and a couple different like these MSV different colored Zaku 2 kits. So this is just the next one in that line. They're gonna keep doing these. I really like them because I think a lot of them, the colors look really cool, so I quite like that. But I was on the fence whether I wanted to get this one personally, though, and finally I decided that I will get it. This is out in November for 4,500 yen, so 4,500 yen is basically like about $10 more than if you just buy just the regular kit. Like, for example, this is basically like a Master Grade Johnny Ridden Zaku 2, high mobility type. So you're paying just a little bit more, basically just for decals, because if you paint, then it doesn't really matter what color the kit's molded in, of course, but so then if that's the case, really the only thing you're getting is the waterslide decals included with that kit. So for me, I think $10 for a nice set of Bandai waterslide decals, not bad, and so I'll take that. So I pre-ordered that one. I think it looks pretty cool. Also pre-ordered this one, the P Bandai Master Grade Heavy Arms Custom EW. This is one that was a huge bomb, and a lot of people just went crazy about this release. I think a lot of people really wish that this would have been a standard release. Of course, myself included. I think, should it have been a standard release? Probably. But unfortunately, it's not, so it's just not really much we can do about it, unfortunately. This is going to be out in October for 4,800 yen. Looks awesome. Then P Bandai HGUC Zeta Plus C1 is going to be out in November for 2,400 yen. This is basically the Gundam Sentinel version of the Zeta Plus C1. Before we had just the Unicorn version. The Sentinel version now, just basically the biggest difference is that it comes with the huge long beam cannon, which looks cool. And I think the proportions of the HG kit look better than the Master Grade. But of course, with an HG kit, that gun's going to have a whole lot of seam lines. So it's going to be seam line all the way down the whole thing. So if you're not a big fan of having to fix seam lines, then that one may not really be worth it for you. And the last thing from P Bandai is the P Bandai HG Build Fighters Super Fumina Titans Made version. Super Fumina was too unique of a kit for them to just sit on it and not make another version of it. So that is going to be out in November for 1,800 yen. That made a brief appearance in the OVA, actually, if I remember correctly. And yeah, I like the rabbit ears on it. I think that's cool. That'd be pretty easy to scratch build if you want to just make that for your regular kit, though, I think. That's kind of really the only thing that I like about that. Otherwise, it's just a black colored Super Fumina, basically. So then a couple things here. The Master Grade Psycho Zakuburka. This is something we knew was coming out for a long time, but now we finally have a lot of new pictures of it. We have the release date, the price. It's going to be out in December for 9,000 yen. Very expensive. But it has a really huge, big fuel tank on the back. And I think it looks cool. Of course, the issue that it's going to have is it's going to have a huge issue of just weight with that backpack. Even without that big, huge center fuel tank, the backpack would be really heavy. But with that, it's just ridiculously heavy. We can see, fortunately, with the pictures, we get a couple different stand options for that. One stand, which is going to plug into the base of the backpack, which is, if you remember from my review, what I said the HG kit should have had. So luckily they've done that for the Master Grade, which is good. Also, if you just want to have it just standing, it has a small little stand that just goes underneath the bottom fuel tank. So similar to the Master Grade Full Armor Gundam Unicorn Burka, that one had a similar thing where it just had like these little stands that went under the fuel tanks in the back to let it stand up straight. This one has something similar like that. So that's going to be interesting. It's definitely a very expensive kit, but it's going to be yeah, interesting build. The weapons are also quite interesting. The weapons loadout is different from the HG kit as well. There's no Heat Hawk, and instead of two giant bazookas, we have just one giant beam bazooka. So it'd be like similar to the Rickdom's beam bazooka, which I think is good because I prefer that. I think it looks really cool. But it's interesting that they changed that up from the HG. So definitely some changes with that kit. We can see a lot of the gimmicks. It has like the claws in the feet that open up, which is cool. It has the mechanical arms on the backpack that's going to work very similar to the Full Armor Gundam Burka. I guess they're going to be probably similar in construction to those, which worked very well, so I'm happy about that. The cockpit, of course, opens up, and it's probably going to have a huge giant sheet of water slide decals. So it'll be interesting, and yeah. The RE100 Bawu, we, again, knew was coming out, but now we finally have some pictures and information on that. It's going to be out in November for 3,500 yen. That's been basically the standard for most of the kits in the RE100 line so far. Looks pretty good. I think it's interesting that we're getting this version. So now I'm sure there's going to be a P Bandai version, but it's just a matter of which one. If it's just the standard green version of this, or if they choose to maybe give it a couple extra parts, then maybe make it a sleeves version, as seen in Gundam Unicorn, or possibly make it the Rebawu, which was was that ever seen in the anime? I don't, not in the anime, I know, but was that seen in some GFT exclusive video? I think maybe at Gundam Front Tokyo, or it's just in the manga or something? I don't know. I forget. But anyway, that would be quite a few more new parts to add to that, but I don't know. So I'm guessing it's going to be a unicorn version, whether it be the Rebawu or just a sleeves version Bawu. One of those, I would say. That would be my guess, but we'll have to wait and see. We have the next RG announced as the Build Strike Gundam full package. I'm not really all that excited about it, but it's coming anyway. That's going to be out in this winter. I would assume probably December or January, I guess, for that. And no price yet for that, but again, I would assume probably 2,700 yen, probably 2,500, 2,700 standard real grade price for that, I would assume. We don't really have anything much to look at except for just pretty much one image of it on display there at the Gunpla Expo at the beginning of August. Next couple of kits from Gundam the Origin are going to be a gun cannon early type. This is going to be out in November for 1,800 yen. And it looks really cool. I actually really like this version of the gun cannon. It looks very interesting. It, like with the original HG version, it has the option of using just like one cannon or the missile launcher. So you can choose. On the one side, it just has like a Gatling gun though, so I don't think you'll be able to change that, apparently. Interesting thing about this is the hands. It has like these like 3-finger claw hands, which look pretty dopey, I think. But I mean, I get that it's like a prototype. It's an early type, so maybe they didn't have full hands developed yet, but still looks pretty goofy. Otherwise, I mean, the kit looks good. Looks like a typical HD Origin kit. It has a lot of really nice detail on there, so it'll be good. And it'll look really nice when it's all painted. Next is the HG Origin Goof Rambaral unit. Yes, the name apparently for this is just Goof. So even though it obviously doesn't really look too much like a Goof, aside from the mono eye and the blue color, that is apparently what it's going to be called. So this is going to be out in winter, and the price is not yet announced, so I'd assume similar price, 1,800 yen, probably the same price for that. Again, probably in December or January, I'd guess, for that release. It looks really interesting. I think the line art, the artwork for that design looks better than the kit. I think it didn't really translate as well into kit form as some of the other designs, but the kit I'm sure will still be pretty nice. And then from Gundam Build Fighters, the next thing we have that's going to be coming out is the Build Fighters Transient Gundam Glacier. This is going to be out in November for 2,000 yen for this. So this one did not appear in the OVA. This is from a manga, I've heard. And it's interesting because when we were first shown this, it looked like the mobile suit, the colors were a little bit different, but it was still basically like mostly white. But that apparently was not the actual image. So what is actually going to be is in this like dark black and purple kind of color scheme, which is interesting. I think it would have made more sense with the name being Glacier for it to be white, but I guess they just wanted to change it more from the original Transient kit. Obviously, one of the big differences is that it has tons of clear purple parts all over it. So the original kit had a good amount of clear parts. This one has way more clear parts, and it's all clear purple. There is also going to be a magazine exclusive weapon set for this. This is going to be coming with Hobby Japan magazine in November for 900 yen is the price of the magazine, which is not bad. Apparently this is called the Kalavich. It's like, remember that like a stray weapon that came out like a year or 2 years ago or something, that was the Kalavich, I don't know how it's pronounced, weapon for that. Same name. This is like a Kalavich Feder, which is, the Feder was also the name of that add-on set for the Freedom Gundam that came out earlier this year. Or that was Feder or something like that. Anyway, so interesting name for this, but basically what it is just a big, huge, clear purple gun sword thing that you can get for that. I guess a set of 2 of those, it looks like, so interesting indeed. Alright, getting to Iron Blood Orphans, this is where we have a lot of stuff coming out because it's the big main show going on or will be going on from next month. The 1/100 scale Barber Toast Lupus is going to be out in November for 3,000 yen. So similar in season 1, the 1/100 scale line started like a month later after the HD line, if I remember correctly. So it's the same thing with this. The show will start in October, but we won't have the first 1/100 scale kit out until November. Looks pretty nice. They're apparently changing up the name to 1/100 scale full mechanics, so I guess the inner frame is going to be a little different, a little better, more detail or something. I don't really know exactly what that means. It's hard to really tell from the pictures we've seen of that what exactly that means, because it looks pretty much the same. The outer detail looks like it's maybe a little bit more detailed than before, but as far as the inner detail of the frame, I'm not really too sure at the moment what exactly is going to be much changed about that, but something apparently. Then the 1/100 scale kit out after that is going to be the Gundam, it was previously referred to as Gundam Type B, but we don't know the name of this Gundam yet. And this is going to be out in December, also for 3,000 yen. I really like the look of this one. I think this is going to be a really cool kit. So I'm looking forward to that, looking forward to seeing more about that Gundam. Then in HG, the HG Iron Blood Orphans Gundam Gushon Full Bake City. Now, I'm not sure if this is a correct translation. I haven't seen the name in Japanese. I just saw this posted online in English like this, translated. So Full Bake City is apparently the name of this new version of the Gundam Gushon, which is pretty ridiculous. That is even more ridiculous than Gushon Rebake, I'll say. They had a choice whether to make it more ridiculous or just more of like a normal name, and they went full-on ridiculous with that name. That's going to be out in October for 1,200 yen. The mobile suit itself, as I've said before, is just kind of a lot of these designs here are designs that I've talked about, but now we have some more names for them and actual release dates and prices, so that's why I'm mentioning them again here. This one as well, I'm not sure the exact name pronunciation, so I'm just going to give you the Japanese pronunciation. This is HDR Orphans Regin Reige, so I'm not really sure what that is, what the actual English name is going to be, but in Japanese it's Regin Reige Julieta Custom. So whoever Julieta is will apparently be some pilot. The thing is though that before this kit had a name, it was just labeled as like Galahorn mass production type MS. So is it a mass production type, or now it's called a Julieta Custom? Again, I'm not sure if maybe my information is just not correct, but I'm just going off of just what I've seen online. This is also going to be out in October for 1,200 yen. Next is the HDR Orphans Yugo. This one, again, I'm just reading from the Japanese there. The Japanese is Yugo. And this is also out in October for 1,200 yen. And then this one is got a tentative name of Geireru. Yeah, again, not sure if that name will change or if I'm pronouncing that correctly for the English pronunciation, but the Japanese pronunciation is Geireru. It looks interesting. Honestly, though, I think I liked it better when it was just all in gray as just like a prototype model kit. And now that I'm seeing it in color, it's just kind of like, man, not that really exciting. And then the last one here is the HG Armblood Orphans EO Frame. EO Frame. I'm guessing that's frame, EO Frame. But anyway, again, the name is still tentative for this one as well. This is that kind of Tekkaden mobile suit that we saw in the trailer that they're using, and apparently they have a few of these that are going to be appearing in the anime. It has a really cool, big, huge shield, and looks like a cool design. This one I think is really nicely colored. This one also going to be out in October for 1,200 yen. So, assuming this information that I've seen online is correct, then there's going to be 5 HG Armblood Orphans kits coming out in October. So, going to be a very busy month for those kits. Then next is the HG Armblood Orphans Option Set 6 and the Mobile Worker. So we had the Option Set 5, which I've talked about before, which is going to be coming out, I believe, also in October, actually. And then in November, a month later, for 600 yen as well, this is going to be coming with arm cannons. Again, but these are like larger arm cannons. Also going to have a like heavier gun, like a bigger gun looking thing. It has some sort of sword thing. It looks like it attaches onto a mobile suit's arm, but it's also kind of hard to tell. I haven't seen a picture of that like actually in use. It's also coming with closed fists for the Barber Toast Lupus, so I wish they would make, I'm glad they're making different hand options in these option sets, but I wish they would make some option hands for not only the Barber Toast, but we're getting more option hands for the Barber Toast Lupus. It also has different face options for the EO frame, whatever the actual name of that is. It has a few different face options that you can use. One of them looks like a unicorn, like a Gundam unicorns, because it has like the thing there, just like the thin visor like the Gundam unicorn does in unicorn mode, and just like the one unicorn thing there. So it's obviously very reminiscent of the unicorn. The other one is more reminiscent of like something from Frame Arms, actually, to be honest, but those look pretty cool. And it also has this big weapon that pretty much is a baseball bat. That's what it looks like. So there's that. And the last thing here from HG Armblood Orphans is that I saw these pictures of these two kits here. They're basically just color variants. So one is a Gray's Ritter, and pretty much the only thing that's changed is the colors are slightly different, especially the striping on it is like a yellowish color instead of red. And also there is a new Grays, the Reagan Rage Grays, that's coming out. And this one is also, again, just changed to like gray and yellow. So again, I don't know really what is going on with these, if these are going to be like Bandai exclusives, color variants, or these are going to be also released kits, or what, I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. I also thought that for the regular kit was labeled, at least where I saw it on Gundam Guide, that the Reagan Rays, the regular one, said Julieta Custom, but as I said before, that was previously listed as a mass production type mobile suit. So I'm guessing that it could be that this different color variation one is the Julieta Custom, and just that information was just posted incorrectly online. I don't know, but these are interesting anyway. The new grays there does also come with a new arm cannon, it looks like, which looks really cool. So I'm guessing maybe Bandai exclusive, but I don't know. It'd be interesting because I just really haven't seen anything about that. Alright, so that's it for all the Bandai stuff I want to talk about. Just to wrap this video up, there's just one last thing that is a third-party kit that I want to talk about to you guys here. And that is the new Mechanicore project. Now, I think it was last month's episode of Gunpla News where I showed you guys, we had like an image of what was apparently the like back skirt of the new Mechanicore project, and it was just like a teaser image that said like the next thing is coming soon, whatever. Now we have a larger image of the full back of their design for their new kit that they're planning, and it's still very difficult to tell what exactly it's supposed to be. So we did get a little bit of a hint though in Samuel Decal's post, Samuel Decal's Facebook page, his post for this, and he gets this information, I would assume, from Mechanicore directly. So he has this labeled as 1100, and then this is like 1100 N dash dash P dash dash Z dash dash, but you can tell what the name is supposed to be there. It's spelling out Neo Perfect Zeong. And based on some features of what we can tell from the design, it does look like the Zeong. The arms look very similar. Obviously, everything's very stylized, so nothing really looks totally like that. But the arms look kind of similar to the Zeong. Obviously, it has a very Zeong style skirt, so the skirt also looks very similar to the Zeong. The shoulder armor also looks kind of similar to the Zeong of like not the official Zeong, but like there's a resin Zeong kit, I believe from G Systems maybe, or someone else, maybe G Systems. There's a resin Zeong kit that has shoulders that look similar to this. So yeah, obviously the legs look very different from the Perfect Zeong like Master Grade kit, for example. But I don't know, again, they take creative liberties with their designs and they change stuff, especially with the Deep Striker. A lot of stuff on that was changed as well. So yeah, they could be going for something much more original than the stuff they've even done in the past. So yeah, I don't know. It could even not be that. It could be something else. If you guys have any other ideas, let me know down below. But just based on from a few things there, from what we can tell, it looks like maybe a Neo Perfect Zeong is what the name. So kind of a mix of the Perfect Zeong and the Neo Zeong kind of there, I guess. I don't know. So interesting. I'm really looking forward to seeing what that is. Their version of the Beaulieu is supposed to be out at the end of this month, so end of September, beginning of October, that's going to be shipped out. So probably early October, I'll be able to unbox that and share that with you guys, the Beaulieu. But yeah, Mechanicore is up to something, and also the interesting thing about that is that 1/100 scale. That means if that's some version of the Perfect Zeong or the Neo Zeong, 1/100 scale, that's gigantic. So I don't know about that. That's the reason why it makes me think that maybe this is not related to the Zeong or Perfect Zeong or Neo Zeong. So I don't know. It'll be interesting, whatever it ends up being. Anyway, that's it for this episode, guys. Stay tuned for more. I'll be off in the Philippines soon. I'll see you guys there if you're going to be there. Everyone else, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.